Awesome, little fishing rod update. Saw that great big yellow shiny ball in the sky, and that really cheered me up today. And it wasn't raining, which just made it even better. So just a little update on the battery pack. So I went for 3 cell groups, 3 carousels, so 54 batteries in total, 18 per cell group, 11.1 volt nominal voltage. Looks quite neat, quite pleased with it. Just a couple of loops of really solid wire, and then each of the terminals has 2 lengths of 0.6mm equipment wire soldered to it, and then just them soldered onto the loop. So it's kind of like a ring main in house wiring. So each of the batteries has 2 of these conductors going through it. So I reckon it should be good to 60 amps. So I got it tailed off with a 6mm cable that comes up. So we have from the end like a normal battery pack, but then we also have the midpoints taken out to the end. So we'll have a balance charge, and I'm thinking it might be good to have the balance charge circuitry actually on the battery. So you have like a little micro, like a nano, Arduino Nano, that'll do the balance charging. It'll take the voltage from the tether, it'll step it down to the voltage of, depending on what it's charging. If it's charging all 3 of them, it'll just dump full voltage in at the charge voltage, and then if it's only charging one, it'll do a maximum of 4.2 volts, and then whatever, 8.4 and 12 point whatever it is, 6 the full, with the FETs and stuff, and it makes it easier if you're just sliding it in to the tube. So this pack as well for the for the jet boots and the DIY jet boots, like the diver toe, running the thrusters. So this pack's probably good for 60 amps. So it should do 4 thrusters at the same time, which is one of the reasons I thought it would be good for the ROV. It's a bit tight for space, but I think we'll be alright. And then it just fits inside this acrylic tube. Like so, also need a longer piece. Just cut that down, to the right height, and chamfer the edges to allow the these printed end caps to fit on. And yeah, just playing with compression ratios, and also the ABS shrinks quite a lot. So I was setting it up to, I think it was about 0.2mm compression on each side of the O-ring, and then scaling it by 1.4%. So 101.4%. So it's a little bit bigger because the ABS shrinks as it cools down, and that seems to make a reasonable seal, even fairly easily. This one was printed without that 1.4%, and just you need to whack it to get it off. And then a reasonable, can't see that, but a reasonable compression on that 5mm ring. We're getting like 2.5, 3mm seating, and treated in acetone. So just give it a good run on the inside with acetone, with just a wash bottle. Wash it around, and the important part's the seats, the O-rings, making sure they're properly schmoed with the acetone, and then douching the whole lot with the acetone, and then putting it in the vaping chamber, just a plastic box with that acetone in it, and paper towels up the side soaked in acetone, and leaving it in for a couple of hours. The first one I took out, I jumped the gun a bit and put it on here too quick, and I think the whole of the ABS might go a bit floppy, kind of like rubber. So then when I pushed it on, the pressure on the O-ring was able to deform the end cap. So yeah, definitely let it dry totally, and also leaving it on the tray that's in the vaping chamber means you get a nice flat surface. If you peel it off too soon, you get a kind of rough, wobbly bit where the ABS sticks to the base, and you pull it off and you get strings of ABS. It's messy. And then holes to attach the acrylic, and also I'm going to try just tying it with string just to keep the end caps together. Hopefully we'll get to 50 meters. I'll probably test it to 100 meters. 10mm acrylic on the ends, and then hang it together with string. It might, if this is on your back, these bits might stick out too much, so it might be better to change that to like a space for webbing. You know, you can have a clip together thing, just to stop the end caps drifting. You know, if you knock them or if you suddenly pressure change or something. Because like the first test of this was trying to find a swimming pool that would let me play with this. But yeah, just a vacuum, a little vacuum pump might be good enough to test the pressure change, and this one seemed to be pretty good. And then I thought, oh no, there's water in it. But then this vacuum pump showed me there was, could see the bubbles creeping down the threads of this connector here. So like a bit of tape or clamping it. Maybe I need to think of a good through-hole connector for this. It's going to be a downpipe camera housing. Shove it down the pipe to find a blockage. With an IP camera power line adapter, and then 2 wires up to the ROV, plus a battery inside. And we'll need a switch mode converter to power up the IP camera and the power line adapter. Oh, this one's coming along. I still need something to tie it together. I'm a little worried here. You're letting this float down the pipe, you're pulling it back. These end caps would separate without actually being physically connected, if you know, if the cap snags or something. So that's on. Printing's working pretty good. Open source, love it. Yeah, so listen to your Cura program. Just turn the acceleration way back up again on the print, and then just turn the feed rate down to like 60 millimeters per second, and it's printing great. Over extruding the first layer by 5%, seems to be fine on these smaller prints, and also I'm using acetone juice, ABS juice. It's sticking, but I'm really struggling to get the parts off, so maybe I'll see how little I can get away with, and then yeah, just printing little things from Thingiverse and little clips that will attach this to my back with the battery pack inside it, and little clips to clip the lower part of the thrusters to my legs, so when you move your legs the thrusters move as well. Maybe got a little overboard with the 3D printed parts, but technology is brilliant. Just mine's still boggling. I'm really pleased the printers making a halfway decent job of it, so it's good. And then I'm going to try it. I'm going to try starting my car with it. What we got? 18 cells, say 20 cells, each of them. 2 amps, about 40 amps there. It's probably, they might manage 10C. So 10C, 2 amps per cell. 10 times 20, you must have like 200 amps potential, you know, if it's cranking. There'll be a big spike when the motor starts off, and you crank it, I don't know, 70 odd amps, guessing. So I reckon that'll start my car. I was talking to Ben, I'm thinking that maybe the alternator, once the car fires up, the alternator is going to start pumping the juice back into the battery, so I'm going to add some chunkless diodes to one of the terminals, so that it can only feed power to the motor, and when the alternator cranks up, there won't be any reverse voltage to charge these bad boys, just in case it pops them. Because it did take quite a while to wire, so I thought actually. And this middle pack, I used a smaller ring of copper, so they kind of fit inside. And at the end, I printed off a blanking plate for the connections, just to reduce the chance of me being silly with it, and still leaving gaps for ventilation. So we'll see if we get on. We'd also, you know, if the charge stuff's on the battery pack, you can have dedicated temperature sensors running up here, maybe to each of the packs, to pick in a battery, maybe even in the middle, don't know. And just monitoring the temperature, make sure they're not cooking, you know, over discharging or overcharging. Gives an idea anyway. right, or maybe a nutter, but I'm gonna give it a go anyway. Right, so we've got the battery disconnected, and then we'll just hook up our lithium pack to where the battery should go. Put some diodes in line with the positive terminal, stop the pixies going the wrong way. Almost highly confident this is going to work. We'll see. Winner, winner.